Hello, hello. I just published my last video, which turned out to be pretty long. I had about 9 hours of footage that I cut down to about 3.5 hours. That video was actually recorded before the video before, part 11, where I talk about how I run into the limits of just asking ChatGPT to write code for me. And in the footage I just published, I was trying to clean up and restructure my code a bit after doing the voiceover for my video, all the videos before that I recorded without sound. And so in that video, ChatGPT does advise me to read up on some design patterns and stuff, which I did in the time after recording that footage. I did read a book about design patterns specifically for game design, game programming. So in that last video, I run into all kinds of problems due to the fact that I created all my code without any knowledge of any architecture whatsoever. And yeah, I realized that what I was trying to do, creating a tile select method and then being able to put units on that tile, was very difficult because of my lack of architecture and my classes doing all kinds of different things um, that would better be in separate classes. For example, one example. And yeah, globally, I just run to in my spaghetti code, and ChatGPT keeps giving me code which starts to resemble at pretty much at spaghetti at one point. So, and in everything that I tried to restructure and clean up, etc., I was pretty much breaking a lot of things that were working until now because I was avoiding any kind of more complex operation that need multiple building blocks. And yeah, right now I'm going to break my code a lot more. I will try to apply the things that I learned while reading about the architecture, design patterns, etc. And while reading the book, it's a little book. It's actually pretty short. It's pretty condensed, and yeah, the author just takes certain principles that are interesting for game development and gives some examples, explains the pros and the cons. And like globally, I kind of understand what they are about, what problems they might solve, but like very globally. And I didn't retain much in my memory of all the different methods, but at least it gave me some ideas and some global understanding of the different ways we can do things. A lot of those patterns, the way I understand them, are actually just smart or smarter things that you can do instead of more traditional ways. The author also explains little bits about the evolution of object-oriented programming and how things were done and how things are being done now more. And he also very clearly explains that some methods work in certain context and that a lot of the design patterns that he explains might only be interesting when you have huge games to manage. And yeah, a lot of things in my in my eyes pretty simple game could probably stay pretty simple. But then again, I like to, because I'm learning, I like to create something that is that is well designed, that is logical and easy to read and to understand for myself in the first place. But that I like to implement certain of those principles when they are when it's useful to use them, when it's efficient. I'm not going to implement all kinds of things that are not efficient. But that's also what the author talks about a lot, that it depends a lot on what is efficient for what you're trying to do, to not over-engineer all kinds of things just because you want to adhere to a certain principle. There's oftentimes more efficient ways and more smarter ways to do things. But that's basically what all these design patterns are about: doing things in efficient ways. And also it talks a bit about resource management, etc., which is probably much less important for what I'm trying to do. So yeah, I'm going to break everything. One of the first things that I learned and that I want to try to implement is to take out dependency injection where it's not absolutely necessary, and do what is it called? Yeah, I forgot about a term that is used for that. Oh yeah, separation of concerns, for example. Oh yeah, the decoupling of classes. I'm gonna try to do that as much as possible, and only use dependency injection when it's necessary. And at least now I understand what it is with passing instances of other classes to the constructors. Specifically, I'm talking about that. And at a certain point in my last footage, JetGPT starts talking to me about decoupling. Well, one of the things it does all the time until now is the opposite. A lot of the time, its solutions imply dependency injection. So, but that's one thing as far as I understand, I always had I talked about it in other things. I had this dependency injection in grid hexagon here, where it passes CorridorTile and CorridorTile as arguments, and it didn't feel right. And after everything that I learned, it doesn't seem to be that too bad. But more specifically, I was here in user interface and main, user interface, main, and game loop. It was also advising me all kinds of dependency injection, and that messed with my head. And I solved it a bit in the last footage with some order, etc. But yeah, that's one of the first things I want to do. And at the same time, I think, or one step at a time, I'm not sure. I also want to take out, yeah, that's maybe the better thing to start with. I didn't make I had some priorities in my head, but I didn't make a numbered list for that. Very unprofessional. But I want to take out the class hierarchy that I created, because what I understand, that's a thing that was kind of done in the beginning of object-oriented programming, to have all these nested classes, all these super and subclasses, and inherit and work with inheritance that way. And apparently it gets really difficult to manage and to maintain. So it's actually a thing that apparently in modern programming is done less and less, and it's more replaced by composition. That means using, as far as I in my imagerist way can reproduce it, is classes that use blocks of and especially expressed in methods of other classes to do their functionality. But it's also a thing to keep decoupling, to respect decoupling a bit. And I did the inverse. I had last video also, I think. Yeah, I started taking out the hierarchy that went from GameShape, what was board shape before, to board elements, where in fact what I understand now, I have most of the things in there are more about the rendering of stuff, and which went from board elements to grid hexagon to tile to corridor zone and to, let me see, tile position is old. Oh yeah, pieces, and I changed the hierarchy so that piece inherits only from GameShape and not from board element. But what is advised is to, when you want to use inheritance, to only do it 2 levels, or like one class inheriting from another, so one super and one subclass. So that's the thing I want to do also with all the tile structure thingies. And GameShape will effectively be something that looks like a factory class where I just create shapes for the other classes to use. Then most of board elements, like I said, is most about the rendering. I go and make a separate render class because I was running into problems with that as well. That's respecting what I talked about in the other video as well, is the model view controller model, where a pattern where ChatGPT started talking to me. That's where it started talking about that I should read up a bit on that design pattern. Here on the right is in the same chat. I showed it in my last video as well. It talked about MSV before, Model View Controller, and then later in the chat it gave me this whole list of 8 design patterns. But that was when I started looking for some thing on internet, and when I found that book from Robert Nystrom, he's called, which you can read for free online. It's very nicely formatted, etc., and you can buy it, of course. And but he also made it available for free online. Very readable, very compact, not too long, so I can really use that as a reference when I'm getting stuck. But like I said, I have globally seen all those things now, but I don't have them in memory at all. But it gave me certain ideas of what's possible. So I am already keeping in mind that I want, like I said, I want to reduce the tile hierarchy, and I want to do something with the, like I have tile and then subclasses corridor and culture tile. I wrote that down, the schedule, and then the different terrain types. I'm not going to make those classes. I'm going to do that in another way that I saw. Don't even remember exactly if they use the enums for that way, but in another way that they are not separate classes here in my code, but that I have like an I don't remember what it's called, but that I have an easy oversight of the different attributes of those classes, and they will actually be created as an object, a class or an object automatically from there within the culture or the CorridorTile. I could even join them all up to be tile and then separate them in the 2 types and then separate them in the terrain, etc. But for now, I decided to do it like that. For example, and in the user interface, I also had all kinds of problems with the dependency injection stuff, and I had that I kind of fixed. I had mouse input handler inside the draw canvas, which is actually, and I was doing a whole lot of stuff inside the draw canvas class, which is a subclass inside user interface, which is pretty confusing for me. So I will move that one out of there as well, and have to find out if that goes together with the render class, the draw canvas. I don't think so, but because draw canvas is like a layout element for Java Swing, for all the layout elements, in fact, and which can be, or draw canvas is just a G panel. A panel is just an element in the page structure. And draw canvas specifically, or the G panel, which mine is called draw canvas, that's not an official thing, can be used to render on it. So I must find out how that is related. If my render class is going to be the draw canvas, or if I have a render class and a draw canvas class. Find out that kind of stuff. And I will make a separate class, which is also a class inside of my user interface of the mouse input stuff. That's all the mouse movements, etc., the input. So I'm going to separate those things. They're, of course, perfectly fine inside user interface in some cases. I didn't invent it myself. That was something I found somewhere way back. But yeah, like the last time I was doing all kinds of stuff here in the draw canvas with the mouse events, and I wasn't aware that I was doing it within that class, so I didn't have access in the user interface, and I was very confused. So even if it's just to avoid confusion, I'm going to take that out. And all this will completely break my code. And instead of this dependency injections, etc., I will try to work with this style that I kind of like, work with getters and setters, because many times I'm confused about using the correct instance, for example. That's a thing that I have a lot of trouble imagining in my mind every time about, but I need the right instance. And I might even have a problem with my mouse select my tile select method, etc. That's things I try to do because I'm using the wrong instance of board, for example. Things like that. So I've understood that sometimes it's a bit more code to use getters and setters. It might be a bit, what does it say, taking the long road sometimes in certain situations. But I find it way easier to understand when I do it like that. And I understand a lot of ways we can do coding is more efficient, more direct. But these like smart solutions are a lot of the times they're too complicated for me to understand. So I'd rather do a little bit more verbose, and which is easy to understand for now while I'm learning. And I can always, when I understand things better, do smarter things. So, but that's kind of what the basic structure of what I'm going to try to change. Decoupling the classes, trying to make classes for those things separately, like they said. What was it called? The principle that one class only changes for one specific thing. Oh, yes, single responsibility principle. Well, not religiously that one, but it's for me, like I said, also way easier to understand that you have a class that does a thing, like for instance the mouse, and that in another class where I want to have access to that I just get a certain instance of that, or I create a new instance. And for my understanding, that's way more logical now, way more easy to understand. So yeah, that will totally break everything, and I have to reconstruct these things another way to make it work again, without a doubt. So yeah, let's start with taking out these classes in user interface. They messed with my head a lot, and they deserve to go away. A new class, my friend. That's all. Name. I can just keep the same name for now. That's the mouse input handler, which is a very apt name. It's public. It's not abstract. Constructors from superclass. Da-di-da-di-da. Inherit abstract method. No. Okay. And then I'm gonna just take the whole, it's until where? Until here. No, that's too much. X. So, let me see. It does have a constructor. Yeah. So, now they go away. Both of those go away. So right away we have all these things it can't find. Update click point. What was that? Oh yeah, the old build UI. I wanted to keep that for the panes, etc. But I already found. I was also fighting with these Java panels and frame and everything. And in the meantime, off camera, I looked up a bit on the internet on the Java docs and some images of how all those classes are related, etc. And it's just yeah, actually very simple. It's actually, well, it's a complicated class structure, but it's actually very simple. It's just layout elements that we can use, and some have different functionalities than others, etc., etc. So that's just a case of redefining those. Having my frame, having my draw canvas, the scroll panel. I was just doing things wrong, and I was confused what it was, but it's actually very straightforward. Do I keep this? I wanted to keep this tagged out code as an example of what I was experimenting with before. Most of it was tagged out in the code that was working, but we'll see about that. Yeah, the click point goes away. I probably need it in the user interface later. Syntax error. Why? Because it's on the wrong place. Let me see. Okay. It's probably after that one. Yeah, here's my constructor. Here's the class name. I was messing that up, of course. Oh, because I don't use an indent myself over there. That's why I'm confused. Can we source. I'm always confused. So coordinate string, that's some layout element. That was what I was using to print the coordinates on the screen where the mouse is at. Coordinate selector. Yeah, draw canvas is part the layout, and then the paint component is rendering stuff. And the rendering stuff I want to get from somewhere else. I can even make a different draw canvas class and just import it with a method in user interface. Yeah, it's a different class, so I'm gonna do that. Yep, I'm definitely going to do that because I found it very confusing. I've proven myself. Draw canvas, the draw canvas, finish. Paste it over with this, up. Did I, in the other one, did I? Oh yeah, I didn't paste over the last bracket. And so it's better. So, and the get click point, get cursor point, that cursor location, definitely for the mouse, for the input. Reset label, by the way, is, I think, user interface. X, this all goes into after the override functions, after the methods from the superclass. Reset label, all right, that's also for my label. Update label. Yeah, here I have all these things. Click point, yeah, because now I've direct access, but I can just give user interface instances of those. Depends how I use them in. Yeah, at the moment I don't even use it at all. I threw it away or I tagged it out, all the those label things. Those were something. Somewhere. I had them somewhere here. The J label, yeah. I took that out because I was having all kinds of problems. So I'm using them here. The label, update label, reset label. Use the update label, return, new point. Did work before. This is not the most important thing, of course. Okay, this is upload and on label, set text. But where do I have label? New JLabel. Oh, here, label it's called. Just set alignment, canvas, add label. Oh, yeah, it's very simple. So, yeah, I would say that this whole, what it does, the label and what it does, and it uses the click point, that is very much user interface stuff. And like I said, I can also always see what, from a user interface, I will try to concentrate this class for now mostly on the layout, and functionality can go somewhere else. So because I took out that class, oh yeah, no, it's even called as a class because it was inline the class. But so for instance, the user interface would be for me pretty obvious to give it, for example, the dependency injection, to give it the mouse point, the mouse moved and the mouse point, or just point in here, as give it an instance for that. But yeah, for now, my idea was to only do that when absolutely necessary, and or absolutely, it's probably never absolutely necessary, but when, yeah, I feel really it's important. I probably need that certain mouse event a lot of the time in a lot of different places. So, okay, that's save up a lot of errors, but that's for later. Let's advance. So board elements will stop to be in the class hierarchy with the tiles, and this will become the render class. How do I do that again? That will be refactored, rename. This will be a render. Then again, do I need separate for? No, then in that case, I don't need separate for tiles and other pieces, but I can make different methods for them. So render board elements for now, because maybe I want to render other stuff at some point, not sure. Update similar named variables and methods. No, I will come to that. Extends, yes. Oh, there's only one left. That's fine. And then tile extends something. No, it doesn't extend that anymore. let's break everything. And it doesn't extend, and the render board elements doesn't extend that anymore. So grid hexagon as well doesn't extend board elements anymore. And side note, I've not decided to get rid of my class hierarchy just because I've read that it's super can go as well, because I've read that it's not common practice anymore. But yeah, like again with trying to create my tile select method, I just noticed that yeah, working with all this hierarchy gets pretty confusing. And trying to access an instance of tile, etc. Yeah, it already with my simple, very small code base, it gets very complicated pretty soon. So yeah, I'm really doing that to simplify everything. And then I have a corridor zone as well. What does it do again? It extends board, render board elements it's called now as well. So that doesn't have a super. I might even try to find another way of corridor zone, just implementing it in the corridor tile in some way. Not doesn't even need to be a separate class. I can just add some shapes. And now I had these abstract methods is draw outline, etc., which I want to be able to switch off for the corridor zone. But because when I do it differently, it isn't part of the class hierarchy. I don't need to implement these corridors, these abstract methods at all. In fact, I can just throw this out right away. And I need something to return a shape, but I can just do that. Yeah, let's do this right away. I can do this kind of the same way that I want to do the terrain types. No, I don't. I don't even need to do it that complicated. I can just create 3 shapes and put them on the up. I'm gonna take this whole thing out and put that in CorridorTile. Where is it? I'm just taking the whole thing out. Yeah, this whole stuff about get zone, etc. And this won't be a class. I'll take it out for now. Yeah, just make a way to put the 3 shapes on every corridor tile. Yeah, take that out, and also the let me see, what do I have in those classes? Why? Oh, they're on top now. I broke everything. Yeah, that's just the shape. I'll take that right out. It's only a method that returns the shape. There's nothing more in there. So I will delete those right away. Just delete them up. Go away. Preview. Yes, it's okay. Delete. Okay. So here, instead of making more classes, I take them out. Corridor zone as well. Is it still? It's empty, of course. Ah, there it is. Delete. So those will just be shapes. Okay, I can create an instance of area for them, or I can just keep the method that returns. What does it? Yeah, then it returns the same. Then it returns a path. I can make that into an area, but I think I can make that into an area. Yeah, I don't use area for the others. I can just put a method in the constructor. That's all. That seems to be the most straightforward. Okay, that will now be a thing with all of the classes as use a shape. I need to find the best way to return those shapes now, because now they are not subclasses. I wonder what's more efficient. Well, instead of the documentation, let's just ask ChatGPT, right? Just be lazy. So just ask ChatGPT if it can tell a bit about the difference between area and path2D in Java. Still way more efficient to ask it like that than to look through the documentation. It's pretty bad. The area class is part of the Java AWT geometry package. Yeah, it's also part of the class of that package. Yeah. It's primarily used to perform operations on geometric objects such as addition, subtraction, intersection, and exclusive or. Can also be, yeah, like I use shape. But shape, like I said, is an abstract superclass which you cannot instantiate as a field or variable. What is it called? It can also be used to determine whether an object contains a specific point or rectangle. Oh yeah, that's funny. You can see if a rectangle fits in there. The area class is mutable, meaning its state can be changed after it's created. Here are some methods in the area class. Add. Yeah, it's funny. You can just add. Subtract I use for cutting out the circles from my corridor zones. Intersect represents a series of points connected by lines or curves to form a complex shape. Oh yeah, curves also. I use that for the circles. Get the shapes with it. The base circle here, radius. Oh, but that's an ellipse. I just use an ellipse. With some formulas, you can also use it to do curves. Unlike area, Path2D is used to build custom shapes. I don't need to change them once they're initialized. So both area Path2D can be used to work with geometric shapes. Area is more about performing geometric operations on shapes, and Path2D is more about creating and manipulating custom shapes. In other words, area is used when you want to manipulate areas defined by shapes, and Path2D is used when you want to create and define your own shapes. Yeah. So I create them with Path2D, and then I could just, so it's more logical to instantiate them as areas or ellipse like I do here, but area is more broad. I think that's like about the broadest. That would be interesting, by the way, to look up the class hierarchy for that. Java FX, Java AWT. Should look into that Java FX. Let's find out Java AWT versus Java FX. AWT is the first generation. Oh, it's a bit like Java Swing. Java Swing is the second generation, and the Java FX is the third generation UI toolkit for designing and implementing graphical user interface with Java. Oh, okay. That's like what was so that when I was looking into Swing, there's also an older generation which uses AW, my Dutch saying way. W is such a mouthful. So it has older classes that are still used AWT, but then I understood effectively that Swing is more recent and Java FX is the most recent apparently. And it said it was better concerning Swing and AWT. It was better. Swing was better optimized in general. And styling provided by Java FX is like CSS. The number of components in Java FX is more than AWT, but less than Swing. A re-architecture and transition of Java FX to OpenJFX as a standalone module as of Java SE 11. Mark was reaffirming that Swing and AWT. Okay, FX is going to be a separate branch or whatever it's called, standalone. So I can probably, but they keep cooperating. So I think you can use it inside your Java though. Okay, whenever that seems appropriate, I might think of using Java FX, but for now I'll stick to. So I might switch to Java FX when it's appropriate, but for now I'll stick with AWT and Swing. Okay, anyway, where's the shape area? Okay, here's the but they can do the same operations on shape as on area, but it's an interface. That means it's abstract, as far as I know. So okay, I can try, but I don't think that's possible. Shape, duplicate field. Oh, of course. I use it here. You can go away. Can I? Oh, can I do it? What? Couldn't I do it? Or just create a shape? Okay, let's add ChatGPT. Just ask it if that can tell a bit about the difference between shape and area. I know shape is abstract. Both interfaces. Oh, that's what AWT stands for Abstract Window Toolkit. They are used in different contexts. Okay, it's good that I look it up a bit. Shape is an interface in the AWT package. It provides definitions for objects that represent some form of geometric shape. Some methods, get bounds, contains, intersects, when they implement the shape, blah blah blah. It's a class. Okay, blah blah blah. Areas can be transformed and can perform operations with other area objects. Compared to general shape objects, area objects have more capabilities. Okay. Add, subtract, interact. Oh right, yeah, for my, where is it? Oh yeah, for the subtraction I use an area, yes. Okay, so that would be interesting if I want to transform them. Would that also mean that I can get bound, da-di-da, that I can like multiply? What was it? What's add? Like when you zoom in or out or something, like change the size? Right. Basically, I cannot tell right now if I need those things. So I can create a variable of shape. Then I was confused with something that couldn't do. Oh, I don't even have to be complicated. I can just do a game shape. Oh, still that error. What's wrong with it? When I do it a second time, it works. Why doesn't it give me the methods? Because maybe that's not possible. It's named the same. I cannot do that. Oh, it doesn't work like that. Okay, yeah, that's a static reference, which I used in the beginning to avoid this kind of stuff. But get corridor south shape. Let's type it out and then return. Oh no, this will be a static reference as well, isn't it? Yeah, this will be static. So I need the getter in the. Okay, but it's an abstract class. So to get access to that, I need an. Oh yeah, there goes my brain again. I need. I can do all that stuff static, first of all, because these are all things that once here they don't change, except for when I want to be able to zoom in or out or anything on the board. But then I could do transformation probably in the render class. Yeah, once again, I think I'm thinking about these things wrong. I'm working a lot with shapes here. It's just shapes, and I want to put some shapes in another shape, etc. All the other functionality until now was kind of secondary, except that because I want to be able to select certain shapes, certain tiles, certain objects, the graphical part is pretty important. But yes, what are they? Because now I was just thinking I will take all that stuff out because it's just a shape I need, but I need functionality as well for those things. It's pretty hard still conceptually. I don't think I want to go into that too deeply right now. I might change that back to separate objects, to separate classes. Yeah, there's other ways to create objects, of course, but the zones are not the most important thing, not forcibly. So I opened the book, the game programming patterns book. So I'm pretty much right away breaking my head about how to return a shape in the specific class. I was messing around with those zones, but I skipped that for later and going to look at the CorridorTile CultureTile class, for example, the basic things. And I only have a method here. I'm in the shape class now, and apart from those lower left, upper right thingies that I try to use to simplify my my x and y point definitions and my calculations, I don't create any fields here. So the only thing I can return in other classes from the shape class are its methods, and it's an abstract class. So I can just recreate static. I can just make them static again, and I can easily return them. But I wonder, but it is a class that is not, it's an abstract class. I was wondering, should I create a field here that I assign this value to, a field of an instance of shape called corridor shape. The most simple thing would be to make it static, make the whole thing static again. And then I cannot make reference to the other one that isn't static, of course. And I can also stop making it abstract so that I can create an instance of this class. As far as I understand, then I have an instance with all these shapes. Oh yeah, but I can use the same one. Those are ways. I don't have to instantiate it anew. Already with a getter, and there's another way. Is there? I think I'll try that. I have to peek how to make the constructor GameShape. Maybe after all the fields, like usual. And then it doesn't do anything yet. The public method to get this public GameShape, and that just return this up. So then return new GameShape punt GameShape punt. Oh, that's not the way to. Oh wait. And then here public GameShape is GameShape is new shape. Oh yeah. And why is this totally fiddling around? But what if I create a getter for this method? So I changed the GameShape to a class instead of an abstract class, normal class. And I'm fighting to get, I'm trying different ways to get it. It's a bit over-engineered, but return new. Trying to find out. Now I have the idea. Maybe I can this point return as a method. I can can I tell it to return an instance of itself? No, this is double. I'm just telling it to return corridor shape. That's just changing the name of the method. That doesn't do anything. That's just weird. In board, I do. Do you need to put? So I'm asking a very stupid question. How to ChatGPT if in the constructor of a class I need to initialize its method to have access to the return of those methods? Because I was kind of fighting with that, but I think I know it's not true. But I'm like, yeah, just to look even more stupid, I just asked what the normal way is to access that method from another class. Yeah, and it's with instantiating an object of that class, an instance of that class. Yeah, normally we should be able to initialize it like that, like straight away, poof poof. And the same could be said for rectangle 2D. Texture square is new GameShape texture square corridor. Yeah, like this. Normally this should be enough. Now it's whining. Oh no, I don't want it private, I think. I need it from within others. Random CorridorTile is still in here. Okay, so and now I should be able to just do the same with the zones, in fact. Get ezone, no, I don't need all that stuff. Public shape. Oh, here it said corridor zone south is new. Oh yeah, but I thought this was more efficient. But now I can, of course, if I'm gonna repeat that 100 times, And for GameShape, I have to worry about the correct instance. Should I? That's not the one. Yeah, I can just, for every shape, I can create another instance, I think. I'll see that later. So shape, GameShape is new GameShape. When I do it like that, I create one instance, and then I can get this out, and that if I'm using it 10 times, that might be a lot more efficient. But I only need one instance of GameShape that has all the GameShape. I'm kind of wondering now if I shouldn't just get the shapes. No, in the classes I wanted to say here, but yeah, I'm using all kinds of fiddly daddies, so I don't need GameShape anymore like that. I just need corridor zone, south, public shape, corridor zone west. Oh, it has an arrow. Why doesn't have an arrow? Duplicate field. Oh yeah, it's no biggie. Corridor west and public shape east is GameShape east. Now I have done what I had in all kinds of methods before. Yeah, you can go away. What I have here, I had a new class. I had all kinds of classes. Now I just returned these shapes, and then I had getters for them, all kinds of stuff. It's better if I write it correctly. So do I now need something in the constructor? I don't think so, because now in the board I can just tell it to draw this field, the corridor thingy. So this can go away too. This makes it super simple. I'll do a little thingy between those two. And even this texture square, it's the same. And I'm obsessing about these abstract methods. So because now I have to duplicate. It's not even duplicate. No, I only have a texture square in the other tile. Then for units, I would probably have something similar. The texture square was for aligning the, what is it called? So this can go away as well. That was for the texture, to align the texture square. I found out at the other one. So CorridorTile still keeps extending down. So this whole stuff, all that shape, blah blah blah, gonna go away. And this is what remains. That looks a lot better. And then do I go right on with crazy to get all these terrain types in here as well? I have to find out how that works, because instead of being the specific terrain types being a subclass again of here, I just want to invoke the different terrain types. Tile type is culture tile. Okay, that's nice. Culture tile. Now this is corridor tile. Corridor tile. I probably don't need that, but I want to do something like that with the terrain types. And I think I have to look that up in the book to see how that worked, because the writer gave all kinds of examples how to do that with units, for example, that you have pretty similar units, but they have some distinguishing properties. But yeah, same. It's and I don't want all this class hierarchy, and it's very easy when you have on one page in one class you have those different types of the terrain, and with my units some might be same-ish. Buildings probably sooner, and you can even create hierarchies with that. But you have, like when I have tiles, you have defense bonus or all kinds of thingies. You can have that on one page. That would even be an argument to put the whole tile stuff into one class and make this corridor culture separation function that way also. But then I will need a tree that separates in the two types and then in all the terrains. But it's not very much. It's just eight different tiles. So in that sense, that wouldn't be too hard. And the other difference between them is the shape and, of course, some functionality later on. But like in CorridorTile, I also have these zones, etc. So for now, I will have tile as an abstract superclass, and then where I can take super away. And then I will try to put the different terrain types inside of this. The question is if I'm doing that right away, or I wait a bit with that. Because that's a whole different thing than now. I'm just trying to simplify stuff a bit and did what I said, decoupling and getting rid of the class hierarchy tree that's too large, too deep. Corridor positions. Tile positions. I was keeping that for example. Yeah, it's kind of. I had all these booleans on there as well. Even draw. I wanted to use the position apparently as an abstract layer to put on my units, etc. No, I wanted to keep it as an example, but oh, maybe I should have. Oh, I cannot select the whole bunch. Oh, what did I do? God damn it. What the F did I do? Instead of delete, I did paste. Oh, okay. Undo. No. Corridor west. Tile position. Oh, I don't know what I copied. I pasted something, but what? No idea. Unsave changes. Up. So, these are gone. The tile position BS. Right. So that I'm pretty happy with that cleanup. That's way simpler than what I have. It was pretty complicated to do a simple thing, apparently. And now, tile. Here it is. Let's do the same with culture tile type, random. Culture tile doesn't belong here for the moment. Super is okay. Get tile type also tile. Okay, so the rectangle, the shape especially. Let's copy instead of doing the whole thing again. And I only need this. This corridor face can go away as well. I don't use it. Stop keeping all that old code in there, right? That's not good for anybody. And I just change the names a bit. Culture, and the texture square is the texture square for the culture, of course. That's all. Yeah, it still has the WH. So these two can go. Just these inherited methods, don't need them anymore. And get terrain type, get terrain name. Yeah, that stuff can go later. Get terrain name. Can maybe put them in there for now. I don't think I need it, but okay, that's cool. Then getting, yeah, I'm motivated to try to try and get the terrain types in there as well. But I think that's pretty I will have a little look see in the book. Oh yeah, so I opened it at the right page, and later on there's other. This is the fly. There's other examples of this, similar examples of this that use elements of this. So that's pretty much in the beginning of the book about Flyweight, and uses the example of rendering a forest full of trees and how you can separate the things that they have in common, which is exactly similar as my tile story, except that I don't have that many tiles, except when the board gets really big, and they're way less different than all these trees, but still they have things in common. And then they have, like here it says, some height, thickness, the position, of course, in the world, etc. And specifically, this first example is for rendering, and maybe the whole thing is about that. And then he talks about exactly terrain, grass, terrain, hill, what I have. Each terrain type has a number of properties that affect gameplay, a movement cost that determines how quickly players can move through it. Yeah, I have, well, a flag for whatever it's watery terrain that can be crossed. Yeah, and a texture to render it. Because we game programmers are paranoid about efficiency. Yeah, we don't want to do things double. There's no way we'd store all of that state in each tile in the world. Okay, yeah, a common approach is to use an enum for different terrain types. Yeah, that's what I was getting at a bit. Enum terrain type, tile type, terrain type, yeah. Okay, class world, that is my board. Private, terrain tiles, width, height, blah, 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 that's my array. World, get movement, cost. Yeah, my board class is going to be a very important class in all that. This water, oh, the works, but I find this ugly. So that's kind of the traditional way, and he's going to give a way that works more beautifully. The data for a single terrain type is smeared across a bunch of methods. The horror. It would be nice to keep all of that encapsulated together. After all, that's what objects are designed for. It would be great if we could have an actual terrain class, like, yeah, okay, tile is mine. It's kind of same-ish. Yeah, it's very nice. I'm reading a bit of it, and this is something I use. Like I said, there are other things similar, but this is kind of the thing I was going for. Okay, it says that's nice in a class, blah, 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 but we don't want to pay the cost of having an instance of that for each tile in the world. If you look at that class, you'll notice that there's actually nothing in there that's specific to where the tile is. In flyweight terms, all of a terrain's state is intrinsic or context-free. Given that, there's no reason to have more than one of each terrain type. Okay, every grass tile in the round is identical to every other one, yes. Instead of having the world be a grid of enums or terrain objects, it will be a grid of pointers to terrain objects. Okay, each tile that uses the same terrain will point to the same terrain instance. Yeah, then I really need to separate the terrain from the other functions of my tile. And that right away is kind of over-engineered for my way of wanting to do things, because this is more about saving resources. Yeah, so I've been thinking about this a bit, and yeah, like I said, it's kind of over-engineered for what I do, but and I was thinking easy way to implement something similar in my code, and yeah, it just came to me. I can multiple things. I can do this simply making instead of having all the different, because I was thinking, maybe I can merge my terrain classes with the specific culture or CorridorTile. They have to, like in his book with the tree example, there are my tiles have some common things that are separated in culture and CorridorTile, but then all the tiles below that, all the terrain types for that specific type. I mean, like culture tile has 4 terrain types and CorridorTile has 4, and they are very slightly different. They have, like in his example in the book, might have some different thingies. Well, for one, their name, a defense bonus, for example, and other things that come later, but they also have different functionalities, like he does with in his example down here with water, with a boolean if it is water. And for me, for now, that's impassable terrain. So those kinds of differences, but for the rest, those classes have very little info. Later on, I need to implement something whether units, mostly buildings are allowed. I need to get some logic in there, but I'm not sure if I need to put it on the tiles or more on the buildings, or a combination of both. I have no idea how that works. So, but I was thinking I could merge them with the CorridorTile thingies at that level, but that's not very useful. I can just create one terrain class and do something like he did, and then, yeah, like I said, not for optimization reasons for now, because my board won't be thousands of tile big, at least for now. in this version I'm making. But still, I think it's pretty clean compared to doing the Einem thing, which, like he said, is a bit ugly. So just for aesthetical reasons and just to try out like handy things to do stuff, I can just make a terrain class, replace the 4 subclasses for each tile type, and make one terrain class and do that in there. And then where he attributes the values to them in the world, I can do that in the corridor and culture tile thing. And then how I use them on the board will be a little bit different than he does it. Now I invoke randomly one of the terrain types and create a new, like here. And yeah, then I'll just have to add some code that it takes the. It works pretty much the same, except the notation will be a bit different. Like I have this different tile type in between, and again, I wish I would have I would have a normal kind of board with uniform tiles, etc. What I'm doing really makes it way more different, especially this kind of stuff. You always have layers, and especially when I'm thinking about later on about neighbor functions in the array, etc. It's every time I'm thinking I might change my thing back to something similar, my grid hexagon array, etc. But no, I really need the grid hexagon type of tile to logically calculate my neighbors. You can neighbor calculations, they are just, you define them that which other objects in the array are the neighbors. It's just the math that you do that is different. And so I could almost create any kind of area and define any kind of neighbors anywhere, because that's just done in code. But I think you'll quickly lose the logic of it then. But every time I'm still doubting about that. But it's just very, well, I want to say unnecessarily complex, but it's necessary for my design. So, but yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to reduce my terrain to that, and then I have an overview in the corridor tiles and the culture tiles class for all the properties. So I have them in one place. I only have 8 different trains, so it's pretty what's the word? It's I don't get the word, but it's pretty. It isn't. Oh yeah, it's pretty trivial to change some attributes in every 8 of them. That's not too much. I don't have many terrain types. I don't have many units. A few more buildings, but it's all very, very manageable. So this, like I said, it's totally over engineering. But yeah, I think it's funny, and I have all these almost empty classes, and it rubs me the wrong way. It's just I like to try out things that are like nice. So and there's one other thing. While I was thinking on this, I was drawing it down, and I'm stuck up. But or how do you say it? I all the time I want to keep my tile class, because now I reduced the hierarchy to the tile as abstract one here, and then the corridor and culture tile as children for that. And I was pretty hang up on that. Because I want later with my tile select, or later when I was working on with my tile select method, I want to be able to just select a tile, have tile. But I realized that I was writing down what every class adds. In fact, and what's differences, but where are the differences? Like in his example with the trees and the train, what are the differences, and what do they have in common? And I don't want to redo in subclasses what I can unify in a superclass. But in the end, the only thing that is still shared between those 2 different tile types are the unit array that I was creating, which I realized won't be the same for both, because in the units in the unit array somehow have to be able to have, like in this example with trees, etc., and also the tiles, they need to have position data. And in the culture tiles, that's pretty simple, just on that tile. But in the corridor, with the different zones that I place stuff in, they will need to have, I think, as the way I see it now, and they need to have a reference to the location where they are on that tile. That is for units as well as for roads, and I'm not sure if I will make it possible to place things in the corridor center. That's not sure. But in the end, it's only that unit array that will be different for both anyway. And then I have something like the outline or things of the very rudimentary things that are more related to the rendering, which here like border width, that's used when the outline is drawn. That might be a thing that's the same for the both tiles, but then again, I might want to change them for specific. That's just so very little. Yeah, and you have the name, of course, and things like that. But yeah. So I decided, in fact, to take out the tile class as well and put all that stuff directly into the two tile types. So that's one level less, and thus I have 0 class hierarchy left. And I think the terrain class, because now I have three levels. I have tile, corridor, and terrain. I'm not even sure if the terrain class will need to extend the corridor thingies. I think I can do everything on its own class, because if I do it away like that, and when I want a random tile, etc., I use methods for that. So that's quite a different approach, but I think I like it. I want to experiment with that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create, where is it? I'm gonna create a new class. So I do need two terrain. I'm not sure which will be called CorridorTerrain. Superclass. There is no superclass. Finish. And another class, CorridorTerrain. And I'm not even sure if they need to be sub. The way he does it in his example. Where is it? Doesn't even need to be subclass, because then I will just generate a corridor tile or culture tile, and with a method to either randomly, instead of doing it in the board now, I think I could do both. Yeah, that's no problem. I can do that in board as well as I could create a thingy inside the corridor. No, I will do that in board. I will keep that in board. Yeah. I'll just need one level more still than he does. It's just one step in between. I don't think that changes anything for the principle. I can be badly mistaken and find myself in big troubles, but that's all in the game. So, CorridorTerrain. Let me take this example. And I have string. Oh wait, those are like this. String. How does it work? I think it works like that. It's undefined. Yes, I know. Okay, start with that. Private. I'm gonna try to use private, public, etc. See a bit like it's supposed to, because just until now I've just avoided it completely. It's called terrain name, I think, using my names as I had them. Oh, just go to jungle. Yeah, terrain name, and I create that as a public string here. Yes, I'm gonna do that privately. Oh, wait. Yeah. No, I'm telling, that's work the same principle, but I, of course, need objects of corridor and culture tile. Yeah, but they can just take those objects like I did here in the CorridorTile. I just create a shape like this. I can just create a train like that, and this CorridorTile will have access to that for its instance. Yeah, I think that is just the way it goes. String terrain name, and should I and then it creates an object of this inside there. Yeah, I think that is the way it's supposed to be. And what else? I really don't have much. I only have the, oh yeah, and I had one for terrain type, but I changed the terrain name, and that was the enum. It does use the enum. Oh no, that's for the texture. Oh yeah, and I will have to create a texture effectively. Where do I do that thingy? Didn't I? Oh, maybe I moved it to the, it should be in the render class now. I probably moved it there already. Draw canvas, render board element, load image. How do I create an image? Ah yeah, protected buffered image. Yep, I'll just copy that stuff. No. I only want a reference to that image. I don't want to create a buffered image in there, do I? And he does it with a enum. That's pretty interesting. I can try. That would be a. I was wondering, how do I create like a GIF? I tell what in the specific terrain. I tell what the file name is, and then in the render class I find that file name, which probably is possible, but why not take his example from a guy that probably knows better than me to just texture. Okay, basically, sorry, I'm talking all over. Private texture. Is that a thing? That's not a thing. Texture paint. Oh, then I could make a class texture with enums. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that works, but I feel like that if I create the buffered image in the class, that would not be the optimal way of doing it. It would be the way of doing it in a render class, so that all the inherited functionality that avoids it doing all kinds of double work. So boolean is unit allowed private boolean. Just making a little example. It's with a capital, or what does it do? Boolean is building allowed is. Yeah, I will have a whole list of those. That is probably something that I can do in a smart way as well. Is, well, for now I'll just put in that as a reminder, is road allowed. Yeah, no, I will have to implement them in all the terrains. So for now I will just tag this out. I'll probably find a smarter way to do that. Because then I need, is village allowed? Then I need all the village. Then if a village is allowed, you can build all the buildings in the village, of course. But then I have mines and other production buildings. It's not that many, but if I need for everyone to see whether it's allowed or not, that would be cumbersome, I guess. Why is it saying that my thing there isn't good? Let's see my render. I will ask ChatGPT for an example. Copy. This is my chat with ChatGPT for random shit. So just ask ChatGPT that I want to either do an enumeration that relates the file name for the texture, or store the name of the specific file in the class. See if it has a nice answer for me. Yeah, public enum texture. It works a bit like a class effectively in enum. This is what he uses in the book, I think. So as a class, as an enum of texture. private string file name. Oh yeah, I could just give a, yeah, I could also just give a file name. And then that formula can just get the file name straight away. Oh yeah, deriving the file name from the class name. That's what I wanted to say. It is so much better in expressing itself than I am. And then the load image just gets very much simplified, but I can do the exact the same thing with the file name, I guess. Doesn't seem, yeah, it seems overcomplicated to do this in enums right now, so I can, where was I? CorridorTerrain. This is just a string, way more easy for now, and I'll probably texture file name, by the way, not just file name. Why does it have a problem with my class body? What? I did something weird. This is there, all the way. Why does it have a problem? Am I stupid? Probably am. That. What's the problem? That's corresponding to that. That's just an error in there. Just because it's in a string terrain. Doesn't it work like that? Oh, okay. There's no commas, whatever it's called. That's not being used. Yes, I understand it's not being used. Let's also put in the defense bonus right away. Private int defense bonus, just to give it some body. And then let me put the methods, the getters. Use constants, that's statics in Java, but whatever. And those are public. Get terrain name, like so. Return, oh yeah, they'll go in here. Texture file name string int defense bonus. Then see this terrain name is disband. Autocomplete again. It's only the first time. It's so weird. Why does it do that? Texture. And now I understand. I do this with a this is this when I have this dependency injection, when I tell it that it needs those thingies. Texture. Then again, I'm talking about decoupling stuff, and now I'm doing that. So I'm not being very consistent here. Texture file name. Oh, I didn't finish my typing. Texture file name. Yeah. And defense bonus is disband. Why? No, it doesn't. Oh, I'm already done. Stupid. And terrain name, return terrain name. It's this easy. No, I don't need another one. I need a new one. Public. Oh, I need a return type of course. String. Public string get. Probably don't need a getter for the texture file, but oh yeah, of course I do. And that returns texture file name plop public int get defense bonus. What did I do? Wrong button. Oh, shift. And that returns defense bonus. So that's the simple setup. Yeah, and again with my booleans or my permissions, can I put this on that, etc. If I just had a simple map with terrain and you could do anything. I need to make things so complicated. But yeah, like I said, it's very much part of my game. So yeah, that's like basically a thing. Then here, I think that needs to be public. I can't type anymore. Public, it's not capital. CorridorTerrain, CorridorTerrain jungle terrain, and public. Not gonna type that 1000 times, 4 times even. Get the whole thing, copy, so. And then we have mountain terrain, swamp, CorridorTerrain. Yeah. Do I need the whole typing out thing here. Do I need the whole terrain thingy? I would wanted to say. You can go out, super, because I'm gonna join you with your brother. Keep the WH. And then, like he does it right straight away in world, I'm doing it in here. And that would be, like for instance, jungle terrain. Like he does that. That would just be, I need of course the thingies, jungle. Oh, and I did it here. So now I need the name, the texture file name, and the defense bonus. Name is jungle, with a capital, jungle. Then it needs those thingies, huh? Oh, wrong button. Does it? Not sure. Jungle, jungle point JPEG, and jungle defense bonus. Oh, that's a nice thing that might depend on who's on there. Oh, yeah, so it's starting to, like if you are an army, you probably don't have. Oh, let's write that down. Yeah, that would be another divergence, that it might be different defense bonuses for different units. I think the logic whether a unit or building is allowed, adds a bonus this or that, I think that logic will be in those buildings and units instead of in the terrain. Like I said, with all the, if it is allowed there or this or such or so, I think that will be more efficient to do that from within the units and the buildings. I have a suspicion. I have an intuition. Oh, what happened? Where the F did I press? I have an intuition that might be less work in the end. But for now, let's say it has a defense bonus for the shits and giggles. And now implicit superconstructed tile is undefined. Why does it have? Oh, here, yeah. Take that out. Up. There's no type CorridorTile. Oh, that's a method. Wait, I missed a piece, I think, because this isn't written in Java, of course, his stuff. So he creates the terrain, has that in his thingy. Yeah, that's probably the same as that. It seems to be. Yeah, of course, all the other stuff is broken now, all the abstract methods, but that's not the problem. Is undefined for the type corridor tile. Yes, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to. Am I missing a new in here? Is that creating new thingies? I can't. Oh, wait. Where's my buddy? Vey. Can you translate this to Java, please? C++. Private. Yes. Yeah, new. Yeah, see? I was thinking there's something in it that creates an instance. Oh, it can deduce the terrain class from that code. Oh yeah, of course it can. Public static final. Oh, that's the constant. Yeah, I really need to find out how to use that. So constant in C++ is static final in Java. Okay. So yeah, there's a new one in there, of course. So that's why it doesn't new. No. Yeah. No. I'm gonna do that here, like I did with the others. Okay, there's one instance of that. Okay, maybe that's not so smart that I did it here. I'm not sure, because I was before I don't want to create a new instance of GameShape every time here. It just uses a method. Does it do the same thing? Let's ask that also. It's great that ChatGPT reads code like reread letters. It's well, I think programmers can read it a bit more like that than I can. But anyway, this code I use the same instance of GameShape 3 times. Game. What do I want to ask? Which allows, because I'm not very interested here in the GameShape object and the class GameShape. I'm just interested in the shapes that the methods return from GameShape. So I could logically say that I want just one object here of GameShape because it has all those shapes in there, instead of reinitializing the GameShape object again, class object. So yeah, I'm asking, I'm using the same object 3 times, and do I create GUI object or one object which allows me to return the 3 shapes on the same instance of GameShape? You're not going to mill some. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think that's okay because I don't need. I just need the object. I use that GameShape like a factory, I think it's called. But then here I want an instance of that. That's exactly what he's talking about. I want, for each one I want an object of it. I don't want I want different objects, because the way that now it's clear. I want different objects. A GameShape is just an empty. Oh, yeah. So yeah. I could get shapes with this way of doing it, but because I'm giving these arguments to creating the terrain, I have one CorridorTerrain class, but with those arguments, every time I create a different instance of that class, a differently configured instance. So the objects are slightly different. So they're all an instance of CorridorTerrain, but they have a different configuration. And what I do with the shapes is I load the class, and with the methods I return the different shapes in there. Oh, so is new CorridorTerrain. But I do want that in the constructor. No. Okay, now I could give. Okay, interesting. Now I could either tell it in the constructor to create. Okay, the logic from his example is that it creates an instance of each of them in his world, and then you can use those to fill the thing. So as I was wondering, do I want to instantiate them every time here in the constructor? But yeah, I think I do. I was going to put them up here, but no, you want to have access to them anyway. In Java, it's written like this. This new CorridorTerrain like this. Yeah, now I kind of get a feel for how this works. So mountain terrain is new. Oh, I still have it here. And then that is called mountain. Oh, I need the accents, of course. Mountain. Mountain point JPEG. Just for fun, let's call it defense 2. And then, swamp terrain and water terrain I've written with a capital. It's not good. Swamp terrain is new. Which is called swamp with a capital. And again, I forgot the thingies. Swamp. Swamp. Bund. JPEG. And let's give it 1 as defense, whatever. Now I have it all together, like in a neat little oversight. Oh, I didn't change the W here to small caps. Water terrain is new. Water JPG. And it doesn't have defense bonus, anything. It's inaccessible for now. And then I can put booleans here and stuff. I might want to make a little comment somewhere here to have these different fields like this to have an oversight, but it's pretty obvious, of course, like so. Oh yeah, and I was talking about decoupling and dependency injection, but this is of course not. I just realized that it's not dependency injection. This of course is dependency injection is when you pass an instance of another class as an argument, if I understand correctly, and this is just passing parameters and fields as arguments. So that's the difference I just noticed right now also. That's quite a different usage. So okay, that's in there. Let's take tile and destroy it as well. Let's destroy everything. So I take the array list and I dump it in here as well. And because total defense bonus goes away, tile is now used, terrain name is covered, border width, using render class, blah blah blah. Yes, but I need the, where shall I put it? Public tile type, all the way up here. What kind of thing is that? Is that a public thing? Or do I just throw it in the constructor like it was? Yeah, I don't have to do complicated things, I think. Just throw it in here, where it was. No. Where did it come from? Okay, here. It's a float. Yeah. No, this goes out of there. That doesn't need in the render class. That goes here effectively. Float border width, private, protected, whatever. Not sure. And do I need it in the constructor? I can just put it out here, right? Point chart0f, like that. Not sure what it does in the constructor over there. And then that's gone. The style type thing with enums, I think in the end, I'm pretty sure now is crap, and I don't need the enums for terrain type. Get tile type. Oh, I said that, but terrain, etc. Okay, that's covered now. But then, no, not in the wrong class. Then for either corridor culture, I have the class name, of course, but I can use an enum for that, I guess. And is instance of, oh no, I can also use the is instance of, I've seen. I can ask that to ChatGPT whether that, what is efficient way, terrain type, data, blah, blah, blah. Return this terrain name. Okay, here is array list, get first unit, up. This all goes in there. Like I said, this will become different for corridors as for cultures because I need other location data. Is draw outline X can go in there as well. Let's put that on top. That was just a flag for the rendering. I want to keep that. And oh, I need that in CorridorTile as well. That's one that's double. That's not very problematic. Get terrain name. Is unit allowed? Oh yeah, those are these booleans here. I had an abstract method for that way up in the hierarchy. Tile total defense bonus. So the only thing that is left seems to be the question if I. Okay, let's see. Copy. Let's ask ChatGPT. Paste the code. I am. So I asked if I'm looking for a way to do to return whether it's a corridor tile as opposed to culture tile, but I didn't specify, and whether this method I created with the enum is the best or easiest way, or like something like is instance of. Okay, it really depends on the. So of course it really depends on the design of your program, the class you have, and how you're using them. Okay, so yeah, I can also just add a flag, which I started out with. Is culture tile, is corridor tile. Then I can just check for that flag. That's kinda easy. That seems even easier. I don't see very much advantage of maybe when I want to do operations on it, it's maybe more easy to have a tile type class like I did. Yeah, like it says, in the end, in each of these options, it's important to consider principles like encapsulation and polymorphism. Your objects should be responsible for knowing their own state and capable of behaving accordingly. Additionally, you should strive to write code that is easy to understand, maintain, and modify in the future. Because it's an instance of that, seems kind of over the top. What I do want to add is a string instance of tile. Is any possible anymore? Tile type string is, I can just, for visually representing it, is printing it to console, for example, is corridor, up like that already. Yeah, boolean is a bit weird. So now I see my notes. Where was it? Where's my schedule? Where's my schedule? Oh, there. So now I have this corridor tile, which gets its shape from somewhere. Yeah, border, dwarf line. I kind of noted everything that's on that. It gets the zones. Then now it can get different terrain types. And in board, of course, now that doesn't work anymore. So I need to have something like CorridorTile and call one of those 4 terrains for the render method, that's all. And instead of creating a new instance of those terrain classes that I had, I will create an instance of CorridorTile, and that's it. I think that's pretty straightforward, simple. Get tile type, blah de blah de blah. Get terrain type, that is in the other one. I will already, it's not, oh, no, terrain type can go. String, get terrain name. No, that's both in the CorridorTerrain name, train name. What was the other one? Train type. Oh yeah, that was in tile, that was, yeah, right, no. I don't need it. And get tile type, it's no longer an abstract method inherited. It's just, do I need a getter for that, by the way? If I have a public string, do I need a getter? But only when it's private, no? Okay, well, let's do it like it in the example. Private string tile type, not used, return public string get tile type, and then that just returns the name tile type. Up for now. Because I don't have all these hierarchies, I'm not worried about instances of this or that. It's all an instance now of CorridorTile and CultureTile. So it's pretty great to me. Then now I have to do the same thing in CultureTile. I'm gonna break it all. Oh, I can get this string right away. It was a private one. So that's one thing I understand for public and private. You can make these variables and fields private and then the getter method public, so that no other class can accidentally, or that you not the class, but you in your me in my infinite stupidity can mess it up somewhere. Okay, draw ini put in there. Get string return tile type. That's easy. Train type is gone. Train name is gone. Oh, I cut out the whole array stuff instead of copying it. That's for you can have that too. And without a comment, I don't need a comment in this one. Where did I put it? And draw outline. Oh. Accidentally drag the window, which is not dramatic. Oh, tile type. Oh, that's override. I forgot to take out override. Good. So like that. I hate all those little thingies. It's very compact, by the way. I thought it would be bigger and oh my god. I reduced endless spaghetti code in these classes and then 4 subclasses and 4 superclasses. I reduced it to this little thingy. That's quite amazing. I kind of love it. So I don't need all these shapes. I do have the culture shape and the texture square. Don't need the corridor zones. So I just need the CorridorTerrain stuff. And so I need to make the CorridorTerrain class first. Just copying the whole bubs and changing some names. So I do have redundancy here, but it's very slight. I could probably find some very smart way to, well, with the help of my book and ChatGPT and the whole of internet, but I think for now that little bit of redundancy is not bad. Like I said, most things do sort of a kind of a smart thing that it's separated the culture corridor tiles in this terrain. Oh wait, what if I just add, because it's not hierarchy now, what if I just add to this terrain class, create one terrain class and add to it the distinction corridor culture tile. Is that smart? Is that smart? I can just add it in here. Even, yeah, I could do that. I don't even need it because I'm telling it which instances to create. So, oh, I don't even have to make it double, do I? I don't even have to. I don't even have to tell it if it's card or culture because I'm using it in both these classes that instantiate their terrain type. So I don't even need it. Up. I don't even need it. What is this? Or I'm really missing something really really important that I don't see now. By the way, CorridorTerrain, no, I want to keep you. CorridorTerrain, I don't want to keep you. Because I was just putting in exactly the same thing. Delete. Yes. I don't even need it. But that made me think I can make a property in there. Whether it's culture corridor. But no, it is in that. Why would I? It's in the super. In that. Whatever. Yeah. So CorridorTerrain. I want to refactor you because otherwise. Rename. Terrain. Finish. And then in CorridorTile it should have changed. Why did it break? Why did it break everything? Tell me. Why? Why did it break everything? Oh, it wasn't saved. Okay, whatever. Yeah, terrain stand to train. Well, it's more short. So yeah, like I can. Oh, that's so funny. I love it. Now I can just, in fact, I create those instances. Just tell here in. Let me see. Where did I put the array? Make it a middle. That's similar. I just put them before the array. So is that public? No. Yes, then private as well. So this is private. Private. As far as I understand, private. Private. No. Yes. I think so. Now it says it's not used. What do I care? Jungle terrain is new terrain. Oh, so it's not used. Oh, because I don't have getters and setters, it says it's not used. Yeah, but I don't need to use them in this. I use them another way. I don't need to use them here. I think it's weird. I'm here, I'm assigning a value to them. Am I not? So why is it saying it's not being used? I think that's pretty weird, because when I take it out, it starts complaining that it doesn't, yeah. Pretty weird. Private. And how now does it use it? Get movement cost. Okay. Okay, yeah, if I use get terrain for example. Okay, but that doesn't work really, does it? Not in here. Because it instantiates all of them one time and then I use them later. Is it a problem that I can access them? No, I think I need to have access to them. No, I think I need a getter for each of them. Because now what I'm going to do, it's different than his book example. I'm going to create instances of CorridorTile. Okay, so that's not very smart at all. I'm going to create instances of CorridorTile, which each of them will have all terrains, access to all terrains. That's pretty stupid, actually. That's actually pretty stupid what I've done. What I need is probably... Okay, yeah, no, okay, so that's, yeah. No, because I was wondering when I was creating it, that was, that it would be smart to create an instance of them every time a corridor tile is created. Of course not. But I was thinking, yeah, because like in his example, he does that in the world, so you have only ever those 4 different tri-types, an instance of them, and you distribute them up there. But now I'm distributing corridor tiles, which will have an instance of all 4 of them, which is just a waste of resources. So I need either, like with these shapes, a method to get them in here. Yeah, I definitely don't want them in the constructor. I want to have, but what I do it like this, what I was thinking. Just create the variable up there, like that, and it will be public, so that I can... No, it will be private, and I will create getters. But then it will be... then it will be initialized as well. Yeah, no, it will. It will probably do exactly the same thing. Or I will have to have the random function in here, but I don't want the random function in here because I want also to be able to manually select the different terrains at a certain point. But I'm already happy that I see now that now I will create every instance of CorridorTile will have all those 4 terrain instances. I'm already happy that I understand that, so that it's very inefficient. So what I was saying before, I think, like I was saying, I can probably reduce it even more. What if I see corridor and culture tile as the terrain? No, wait. No, I think I see the obvious solution here. That is to give corridor and culture tile an argument of terrain. Although I was whining about about dependency injection. This seems pretty useful. And then I don't want to instantiate them right off the bat. I want to make that conditional. And how do we do that? That is just an if statement, isn't it? Oh, with the case thingies. Culture tile, case 1. Yeah, that's with cases. I just make it cases here. But then do I use any of the advantages? Yeah, that would, if I wanted to, I could make then in board, I could repeat this for 4 different corridor tiles, each with a different terrain, and reuse them. But that wasn't really why I wanted to do this. I wanted more to be more clean, so that doesn't really matter. And it's not for this or that or what, not random. It's just a switch statement. Switch, switch. I'll type it out because I never done that, I guess. Switch terrain, and then it's brackets like so, and then it's in here, and then terrain mode, random culture tile is an integer. I think I'm doing something unintelligent now. I want to use this one. Does it work like that? I have no clue. Is random culture tile? Oh, that's just for the random, that stuff. Case, no, culture tile. Oh no, that's an instance of culture tile. Okay, yeah, I assign the value to it. Terrain. Oh wait, I forgot the case 0 stuff. And then a break. Case 0, double that, and then that. No, break. It's written like that. Okay, it doesn't work like that. How can I? Then it would be an else if, no? But that would be a long list of else if. Let's ask my legit digital friend. Why does it? Oh, because I added that one. ChatGPT, help me. Depending on how to do this best. So just add ChatGPT how to do it. I'm an input terrain object. Oh yeah, the if switch. I'll assume that your terrain has a string get name that returns the name of the terrain as a string. Just else if, yeah, that is what I could imagine. Okay, this is the limitation that only one terrain can be initialized at a time. That's exactly what I what I want. Otherwise, I was doing this that way. I'm kind of doubting that there should be like a way, like the terrain class was just so simplified now to call it different instances of that. Why can't I do the same with separation between culture and corridor? But that would mean that I would call them in, either I recreate a tile or I call them directly in world like he does in his example in his book. And I feel I'm not sure. I think, yeah, that's what I came up with. And then the culture corridor thingy would be passed in there, but then also I need the different array list thingies, etc. So no, I think I'm going with this way. And now I can, when I do it like that, I can randomly select the name, and with a case, how do I do that with a case? I just want to see it. Hello, thanks. What is it called? With switch statement. Just to see a comparison of what it looks like. Oh, it's just like that. Switch terrain, get name. Oh yeah. What do I like better? But then again, then I have this in here, and then I will have that in my. And that's the problem, that my tiles are more than just the terrain thingy. So there are just too many different treatment that cannot be unified over the 2 different tile types. So I'll just have to have complexity. I think the switch is way nice, way cleaner. So give me the whole switch thing. I tried typing it once, that's enough. Lazy ass. So, did it take over all my values? Yeah, so I can throw this away right away. What's this? It went wrong here. No, that's okay. That's with that one. It's just indentation that's messed up. Get name for the type terrain. Get terrain name, maybe? That's why it cannot find it. Get terrain name, yeah. And so I don't need to create an instance because it's creating them right here. Django. So I hope this works. And then in board, I can just, instead of this, I will make a random, and then in here it will just instantiate a new CorridorTile AWT train name. Yeah. Pretty much better. And it's still whining that it doesn't use these thingies. But if I don't put them there, it will complain that. No, I don't understand. Right. Anyway, so I'm gonna make it in CorridorTile now. Private terrain, desert terrain. I don't need a whole terrain thingy, do I? Anyway, maybe I have something else with names. Private. Oh, maybe not. Monkey Punk again. Desert, forest, terrain, grass, terrain, hills, terrain. And then I throw the whole switch statement in there, like there's no tomorrow. Up. Terrain cannot be resolved. Yeah, because I didn't put terrain in here. That's why. And then just replace those little names. Up, copy, up, copy, up, copy, up. Voila. So that's a work of art. Let's fix the indentation a bit. Get units on tile, etc. That's the array list. That's all there. Get tile type string now. Did I put it in here? Yeah, corridor. Okay, good. Oh, I didn't assign the name. Is culture. So, right. Wow, it looks so clean compared to all the crap that I had. Draw outline, get tile type. A lot of empty space there. Draw outline, get tile type. Draw outline, get tile type. Yes, I have them. So, there's that. That's great. I like it. I like it a lot. So, I emptied tile. What was it? I was still whining about those enums. You know what? I think I'm done with him. Where is it gone? In my class hierarchy. It must be somewhere. Hello. Sometimes it's doing weird things in my type hierarchy. Oh, here it is. I'm just being blind. So, tile delete. Yes, gone. And all these can go. Let me see if there's anything else that I put in those classes that's interesting, which I forgot to move over. There's 0 stuff in there. So delete, swamp, delete, water, delete. I remember in the beginning when starting all this, I was very happy to have like these concrete objects that are in a game. Like you have desert, you have terrain types, and those are all class, and then you have buildings and units, and all the little classes. It's very, very great, very beautiful. And now they're gone. um, I might have the same thing with the buildings, because some have different functionalities. They have this little system where you can build a village and build building in it level 1, and then a building level 2, but just one. You can have to choose one. But apart beside, and then you have some other buildings, roads. It's not in the building category. That's something else. So the functionality, and you have a few buildings that you can build on a resource or a tile where you get a resource. Anyway, but those little town upgrade thingies, at least, and even the other resource thingies, besides having, well, that's the town upgrade thingies, they are conditional only that you need to have the village or the level before that. But besides that, they have similar things as these terrain. They have just some statistics basically, and they get a certain resource. They give a certain resource or a bonus. So might as well be. I might probably be able to reduce them as well. For the units, might be less obvious. And for the resource buildings as well, maybe it's complicated. Maybe it's depends. I have multiple different bonuses, etc. So we'll see about that later. And I'm finally able to place my first unit on the board, then I can go into that. So of all my tile class hierarchy, there's just I've left a corridor tile class, a culture tile class, and a terrain class. That's all. And I had all that here, and I have GameShape left. What was in the hierarchy, but is now outside of any hierarchy, and then there is the render board, which was also in the hierarchy as the draw board, or no, the board element thingy, which is gonna get all my render stuff. And but yeah, I had way more. I had shape, board element, then I had tile, and I had the corridor zones, had all different classes. So I have so much less classes now already. So that was yeah, what I was saying. Get out the class hierarchy, that worked pretty well. And yeah, then I I was tempted to do the thing with the terrain, so that worked out fine in the end. See if it all works, and I get it to work. But I think it's exactly what I need, and also for accessing all those thingies. And then yeah, then I think I want to continue with decoupling if I can find some. So no, actually, before going into the decoupling, let's finish this story and get to work get it to work in board. Actually, that's way more interesting. So I can. Oh, I am in another chapter. I was looking around for answers. I can try and do just for fun what he was suggesting in his book, to create an instance of each terrain type before initializing. I can still do that with the zones in there as well, because culture tile, corridor tile. Oh yeah, that would be fun. Let's just try for fun. That won't be the same. I will have the tile can go away. Culture tile, that's for the random. Let's put them up there. Private. This can't be called. This cannot be an instance of terrain. Or can I just wait a minute? Can I just skip the whole passing it through the corridor tile and do it directly in board? And then then I could pass, and then I could pass it to the constructor of corridor tile. But that's weird. No. What? Yeah. What? Okay. Wait. I'm getting overexcited, because what kind of instance would it be? Oh, just an instance of culture tile. Yeah. Private culture tile or corridor tile. I'll just create 4 instances of those. Oh, but wait, then yeah, no, that doesn't work, because I need those different those different functionalities. So wait. So wait a minute. But what if I? Yeah, but I should. Yeah, that would be with composition. I then should be. Yeah, I cannot use the same instances of corridor or culture tile, because every one of them will, the way my architecture is now, I have an array for the units on each instance of tile when there are, and I cannot use. I specifically need an instance of that tile with that specific array. You cannot use the same arrays for the culture. No, it needs to be another one. I cannot move that to the grid hexagon. By the way, grid hexagon should be dead by now. I was forgetting about the grid hexagon there. It needs to be specific on that with a specific instance. But if I could instantiate that terrain in there, instantiate that terrain from one of the terrains here in board. Let's say I do a random terrain type, then all the stuff it gets from corridor or culture tile, from the tile type, will be the same, and I can just instantiate one of those arrays, or one. I can instantiate a terrain and a corridor object in the same spot in the array, I think. Oh, and I do still have the grid hexagon, of course, yes. Yes, it's all very complicated because I have this weird-ass board requirements. On paper, it looks really easy, but digital form, it's kind of a headbreaker. So the random board, da-di-da-di-da, and then it instantiate for, yes, then I pass the culture corridor tile to the grid hexagon. That would mean that I said culture tile, corridor tile will have to take a terrain as argument now, the way I wrote it now, they take a terrain as well, so yeah, no, I don't, no, yeah, I don't, yeah, there was probably a smart way to do initialize the terrain only once in here in the board array, like I instantiate the culture corridor tile, then pass them that instance to the grid hexagon. I could as well, okay, let's invert, then I create the instances of terrain here in this thingy. Then I pass one of them, either random or selected, to the tile type, to the culture corridor type. Then I pass those to the grid hexagon. Oh, by the way, I need to look at that. I don't even need a W and H. W and H, they're given to grid hexagon. Wouldn't it be way more complicated? Just the simple fact that it reloads the texture every time you. No, probably that's fixed with the render class. Not sure. But let's say for just a thought experiment, I could. How could I do that? Can't do it in CorridorTile. No, I don't. I don't think I can do. Yeah, it might somehow be possible. I don't see it right now. How I could, or take this out of here and put it back into board effectively, like in this example, and then I instantiate all of them, and then I pass them to the specific corridor tile. That's kind of inversing the things. I have trouble with that because my hierarchy was working kind of different. But then you have like a board class. I have had trouble before with this random method, etc. in the board class. Because like, no, this should be happening in the classes automatically, etc. And then I realized I like the random tile is no, but I want to be able to also have a non-random board initialization. So this is actually a very good place to do it. And now I'm kind of walking into the same thing with the terrain, effectively, because I like to hide it like like this in the classes. But what if I do it exactly like what's his name? Robert Nystrom suggested. I put that in world. I load the terrain classes there, and then in my random function, I create just an instance of culture tile with only between brackets the terrain name, and then I'm done. And it takes it from here. Here I created the instances. That would be actually pretty neat. It's more a way of you have like some places where you have like a central input point, like where you create instances of things on demand, like a dashboard idea instead of some cascading. You do a thing and it cascades. Yeah, that is okay. I'm gonna try it. So that means that I'm actually going to take it back out of here. That doesn't mean I don't need a whole switch statement, I think. Or do I still need that? No. It will get his thing from there. Did I change the? Yeah, I did change that one. There was my translation example. I did ask the whole thing, didn't I? Just copied and pasted it somewhere, didn't I? Oh no, that was that example, yeah. Sure. This was the translation. Oh, by the way, I see that it does write this in inverse. I don't know if there's a difference. I think it's this exactly the same to write this point blah de blah is or the field name, but ChatGPT says it's like that. Let's take that. It knows better how to write in any language than I do, so let's take this as a standard. There's probably reasons for that also I don't see. Okay. I need this without the switch, etc. I'll just have to. Let's try this out in the board and take out the break and the case and the whole stuff. Oh, that's easy. It's just there. Let's see. I think this is fun. Probably it's, like I said, totally useless for optimization reasons because I don't need that kind of optimization. Let's put it before all the hexagon stuff because this is one of the first things it does. Just gives my board class access to all the terrain types to use. So that's basically what it does. It gives me big swath to town. So still complaining that those aren't used. What's with the indentation? It's all refactor, no source, Control E. So now I have them here, and then my random thingy will be new culture tile, and then jungle. Do I need to put things around it? I don't think so, do I? No. It's undefined. Yeah, not undefined. What are you on about? I missed one little thing, I guess. Jungle terrain. Private. What if I make that into jungle? Kind of starts to annoy me. Probably get regrets later, but we'll see it then. Especially when I have to pass it here again. I need a big things like that. Right. CorridorTile. Get in that space, and the second one will be mountain, and this will be culture tile, swampy swamp, and this will be culture tile, watery. So like that, and the same goes for my little friend here. This will be a corridor tile. Oh, damn it. I took the wrong ones. I need both of the terrains, of course. Like that. Like that, and then not do them in the wrong order. Let's put them in the order like I do the random function. Did I just make something disappear? Yes, I did. Like that. And I typed all the wrong thingies in there. Desert. I used the corridor ones instead of the culture ones. Very smart. Grass. Else. CorridorTile. Jungle. Let's copy paste the CorridorTile thingy. Copy. V. Second one was mountain. Then it was swamp or water, doesn't matter, but let's keep it a bit samey. Swamp and water. Might change that name later when I want to add water to round tiles as well, culture tiles, but whatever. We'll see that later. Default is, oh, that's way easy. So that's just the random board thingy, and this passes the terrain to the specific instance, so it will create that. So I can take out this here again. Let's keep doing it over and over until we know how coding works. Same for culture. So yeah, this is more like a composition of. I was again thinking in hierarchies, like those terrains, those are culture corridor, blah blah. Now what I'm doing is more composition. I have the terrains here, and I have a corridor type with its certain functionalities, and others that different functionality to the different types. Then from here, I instantiate the random culture and corridor, or I can create a method here which lets them select which lets us select a tile. Then I pass them to. I fill the grid with grid hexagons that take those random selected culture and corridor tiles, and let me see if there's anything that changes in grid hex. I was thinking of something in here. Oh yeah, the WH. I don't need corridor and culture tiles to have that in here, I think. I will. Yeah, I don't see why I need them in here anymore. That was had to do with the that had to do with the whole hierarchy stuff. I do want to be able to retrieve its WH, its array coordinates, but those are assigned to the grid hexagon, and that one does need them. I can just pass them down, so that would also be assigned in there. Oh, let's actually. I have these. Yeah, but I need to access them through the grid hexagon. So normally, but I want to go directly. Okay, let's ask ChatGPT. So just asking that I want to retrieve those W and H parameters in the assigned corridor and culture tile here, and what would be the simplest way? Probably better named width and height. No, those are not width and height. Those are coordinates, my friend. But I like its correcting stuff. Like it. Instead of always being a good little robot. I had to do to add two variables to the culture. Then set those. Yeah, that's what I want. Cross culture tile. Oh yeah. But this. Corridor tile, this. And when you create the new grid hexagon, pass W and H to the culture tile and corridor tile constructors. Okay, so that's automatically yeah, of course it's the loop that counts if I'm just doing one loop for. Oh yeah, there's my here I'm wondering the order of things, because what am I? This for me is weird. I understand that I need first to assign a random tile to this, and then I can pass those to the grid hexagon. But the W and H, wow, how does that even work? The W and H, okay, for that I do that, and then it assigns the W and H. Oh, wait a minute. Width and height. Yes, that's the way it works. It progresses through the array, creates a thing, new culture tile, that's exactly how it works. Okay. Okay, but to have access, the only thing different is that I want to have access to it. What did I break? By the way, I broke something. I don't even remember why I broke it. I was messing with the WH. Oh, okay. I'm here. I broke it. No, this was the right way to do it in the end. Int H. But what I do need is, I might need, is a way to retrieve them in culture and corridor tile, because then I don't have to pass through the grid hexagon every time. So I think that comes after the shape stuff and W, which is No, not publicly, it's private. Private int h is v. No. Just w, that's all. This h is h. Space with a point. Stop harassing me with your autocomplete. I might as well put in a terrain to retrieve the terrain. Private terrain. Right, yeah. And retrieve that as well. This terrain, okay, delete it. Is terrain. I probably want to have that get tile type. That is for this one. That's defined up there. And then public int. It's just an integer. I don't see the use for now to call them better names. Array. It's not even width and height. It's array coordinate. Bloody bloods. Return w. That's all I have to do. Public int h. Return h. And no, not like that. Over there. And public terrain. And let's return terrain. That's all. Up. Very easy, very simple. And that will be duplicate in CorridorTile, but I don't care. Otherwise, I would have had this in the tile class, for example. That was, yeah, to avoid duplication, etc. This kind of stuff. But and w and h back in there. But this seems pretty innocent. So I probably need those somewhere. Yeah, everything should be right. So yeah, I don't take those out. They keep them, the W and H, because I want to access those without passing through grid hexagon, I think, with my tile select method. I'm thinking about that. What is all this crap? Can't I go back to the associating culture vertex? No, I totally don't need that. Okay, this corridor did okay. I already have that. Public grid hexagon, get grid hexagon. I don't think I need that. Oh yeah, it's written like that, of course. I'm doing stupid things. Yeah, that's in my total noobiness. Here, of course, that's just W and H. I don't have to write it 2 times. I forgot that you can define more in a row like that. Oh, I wanted to delete it. Delete. No, not you. And I can do that here as well, of course. Instead of doing all this crap. Takes huge amounts of space. Grass, hills, jungle, mountain. I might want to do 2 to keep the cultures and the corridors separated. That might be more to my liking. Mountain, swamp, water, up, poof. That's a bit less. Okay, those 2 I can do as well. Why not? Takes less lines, so code stays a bit more readable in general, not always. Did have things like that in my shapes, no? No. Okay, save out top. So culture vertex, GameShape, culture vertex. Oh, that is something to do probably with, that's not its shape at all. You can go away, I don't use it. Can have, when I want to draw relative to the tiles, I might need that. I wouldn't know why I have a get grid hexagon method. I don't assign a value to it as an array. Why would I want a grid hexagon method? I don't see the use for that. It's just getting an instance of this instance. That's weird. Classes, grid vertex, grid face, methods, neighbors. No idea what it's all about. Okay, so I do need to return. Let's not override. I do need to return a shape for this if I ever want to draw it again. So let me see how I did that here. Oh yeah, very easy. That's not, that's here. Int, CorridorTile, buddy. Okay, I'm putting that up pretty high, trying to do it a bit samey. Public, oh no, this is private. Grid hexagon. Okay, I want to get, okay, get the same, just copy. I still want a getter for the WH in the grid hexagon. And also this point W is W, this point O, H is H. I do want to be able to return them, but then now, so those I set to private. The public shape, that's okay. Shape, how did I do those? Public shape, corridor shape, public shape, grid. Hexagon is public GameShape is new game shape base hexagon, is it? Like that. Voila. And then that can go away. The method to get it, don't need that. Texture square the same. No, I don't need a texture square for the grid hexagon. Is draw outline. I do want to keep. I want to test things, etc. So neighbors, whatever, that's probably in neighbors, probably in core and guild tiles, not in the grid hexagon. Okay, seems like I cleaned that up a bit. Static grid hexagon grid. Okay, grid hexagon. Oh, that's a weird name. Static grid hexagon. This is weird. Oh no, that's an array of grid hexagons. That's the way it's working. It's called grid. So this corridor zone stuff I can take out now. I have a lot of crappy crap in here. Corridor zones, new, more corridor zones. What was this? An old. Why did I keep that? It's just a random method. What was I doing with that? It doesn't seem useful at all. Clean that up. Okay, clean that up like that. Take out white space like that. Random assigned culture. Yeah, okay. Let's just return the random assigned tile for some reason. My find tile at point experiments. And more of that. It's very colorful at least. That's one thing. And a draw, calling out what to draw, print, culture, get terrain name. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. I can just change that to add one terrain something thingy. Culture tile has the instance of culture tile terrain. I have to change it that much. Terrain, it should have access to that. Terrain, point, get, terrain, name. Why doesn't it have that? Terrain is not visible. Why? Oh, get terrain. It's called getter. It's not called a getter. Get terrain. Didn't do a capital here. It's even visible it's not in terrain. It's even visible in here normally. Get terrain name. Oh, no, I need the instance. How do I access the instance? And terrain is the instance of. Oh, I need the name right away. Okay, how do we pass it on? CorridorTile. Do we use it like this? Doesn't work like that, huh? No, that's not that. That's just a field there. CorridorTile. They get assigned random here. They get assigned. Is it accessible directly? Get terrain? No, get terrain. Let me see. This should be very easy now. Let's ask my friend Somebody. He wrote the print board, so I need to change a bit in the print board method. Since you have the getTerrain method in both CorridorTile class, you should be able to use that method to get terrain object. So this is way more overly complex than the example in the book, but that was what I needed. What was I not understanding? If not null, CorridorTile and getTerrain. Blah blah. Okay, I don't need that. GetTerrain, getName. This was what I'm trying, an instance of that, and then getTerrain name. Oh, yeah, I was thinking it must work. GetTerrain name. Yeah, I just need to add getTerrain. Yeah, okay. And he did add the check for getTerrain not null. Don't need that. Okay, that's fixed. I don't even need to try and run my code yet though. That's all bullcrap. So that's quite funny, all of that. This way, like back here, this way of accessing it was way more complex than his. Where was it? Example: get tells bloody blah place and then get movement cost. No, way more normal. I need to add an instance of that thingy and that instance that is assigned to that one, and then get the methods on that one. But I can access all the instances like that are assigned to different things, so that's great. And drawboard element, of course, doesn't work because it doesn't exist anymore. All that stuff is in the render class, which is something to look at as well. The render class, yeah, because I wanted to look at decoupling, especially in game loop, main, and user interface, and all these dependency injections thingies. And I need to restructure my windows, etc. That's more of a layouting thingy. Might be interesting to try and make my code run visually again. So might be interesting to do the render class first, and also I need to do. I also moved the draw canvas to its own class. It was its own class, but in line, or whatever it's called. And I want to. Yeah, I need to do work to get the render class to work. I guess a lot of work.